My friends, welcome to a sad day here at the shop because tomorrow the Rocket 3R Black from Triumph that they have been letting us borrow has to go away. But the good news is we have had it for a month. We have enjoyed it immensely, far more than we expected. So that means today is the 1 month review of us riding the Rocket around. Stay tuned to find out how good it was. Because it was good. Let's get this video going. Also guys, in order to help pay for videos, I am now going to roll an ad spot. That is going to help us fund the cool content you're about to see. Thank you for sitting through it. Let's go.
What's going on, guys? This video is brought to you by Revzilla's Riders Plus membership. What that is basically a membership program that only costs $60 a year, not a month, but a year, and you get a ton of rewards from it. It's kind of like Amazon Prime for Revzilla. So if you're buying a lot of motorcycle gear, especially on Revzilla, this could be really interesting for you. Check out all of the things you get for this. So you're gonna get free 2-day shipping and returns. You're gonna get 10% off exclusive brands. You're gonna get 5% cash back, period. Also, for you first-time members, you're gonna get $15 in cash back from the moment you get this membership. It's also gonna include early access to sales and phone lines and exclusive events. So if you're somebody that buys a ton of gear and could find a lot of value in this RPM thing, by all means, we'll have a link for you down in the description below. Thank you guys for supporting the show by going to that link. And thank you, Revzilla, for sponsoring this episode. We'll see you guys with the rest of the show.
All right, my friends. The Rocket 3R. Oh, what a cool bike. Let's get this keyless motorcycle started. $16.99. I think we've put I think we've probably put around 800 miles on this thing in the month we've had it. And boy, have they been glorious. All right, guys, let's send her on the final ride. Kind of sad, these 1 month reviews of the loaner bike. You always come to love the bikes if they're a good bike, and man, this has most definitely been a good bike. I have enjoyed it very much. So guys, if you're not familiar with the content that we've put out on the Rocket, you really need to learn yourself. I'll put all the links to the videos we made on the Rocket while we had it in the description down below. We've done our first ride. We tried it out in the mountains, we tried it out in the city, we tried it out on the highway, and now we are here for the 1 month review. I do want to start this out with saying that, you know, this is a cruiser motorcycle. You guys know I don't have a ton of experience with cruisers. I looked at it as an interesting opportunity to really get to know this cruiser feel, and I honestly didn't know how I would feel about the motorcycle. I didn't think I would like it because we do have mid controls. We do have this big handlebar setup. It is far different than I would have expected. I've got a very low seat height. It's just not the typical ride that I would have. I have to say, this has been such an enjoyable time riding the Rocket around. I kind of look at it as a cruiser bike for non-cruiser rider. Now, I consider myself a non-cruiser rider, but I have had such a good time on this thing. And it's not perfect for sure, and we'll talk about some of that today. So while we're on a little twisty road, let's talk about some of the things that I did find a little challenging with this motorcycle. You guys know how I like to ride. I like to ride slightly more aggressively. The Rocket does have limits. There are physical peg limits that this motorcycle cannot really overcome. You know, you are going to hit a physical limit with this motorcycle, leaning it side to side, sooner than you would on other motorcycles, especially something like a Super Sport or a Naked. And that's something you need to come into this bike with. You need to know that before you pick this thing up, because you know, if you go try to do the type of riding that you're used to on a Super Sport or a Naked, you're gonna have an interesting time. as people pull out on you. That's another thing that we noticed while doing the city test of this bike. I feel like the bike sounds fine. I like the way it sounds. I like the subtleness of it. I think it fits the subtleness of the bike, the, you know, all blacked out and whatnot. But I have noticed that the bike is kind of quiet, and because of that, you end up getting seen less, which obviously is not a good thing. You know, we don't have a loud bike. The bike is quiet stock, but that's, you know, that's why you buy aftermarket exhaust and whatnot. Obviously, we're not going to put an aftermarket exhaust on a motorcycle. We've got to give back. But continuing on the kind of weird stuff with the Rocket, something I've noticed over the time we've had it is the length. The length of this motorcycle makes the way it rides very strange. The times you will notice this mostly are when you are in a turn and a disturbance happens, whether you hit like a little bump or a little divot in the road. The way you feel it on this bike, you can feel it in your handlebars, i.e. the front wheel. You feel it there first, and then you can kind of feel that disturbance trickle its way through the motorcycle. I wouldn't necessarily call this a good or a bad thing. It's just more of something you've got to get used to. At first it is kind of strange, but, you know, over time, you know, after you spend enough miles on this thing, you kind of get used to that, and it's just, it is what it is type thing. One of the things I cannot give Triumph enough props for with this motorcycle has been the throttle response. Now, you guys can see this motorcycle. You probably understand that this thing is all about straight line power. It's not about leaning the bike over and you know, getting your knee down like some other bikes would be. It is all about look straight, pull the throttle as far as you can, and hold on for dear life. So you wouldn't expect the throttle to be so refined as this bike's throttle is. I have been shocked though at how refined this throttle is. If I want to ride smooth, I can, and I don't have to change power modes. If I want to just blow this thing down the highway, I can do that all in the same power mode. Now, the bike does have power modes. I feel like Triumph did a great job making the power modes feel totally different. You know when you're in rain mode, and you know when you're in sport mode. This is a motorcycle where you can put it in sport mode, and the throttle has such a good power delivery that you can do things smoothly even if you have the bike in full beans mode, which I imagine was probably pretty hard to do on a bike with as big of an engine as this has. So another thing that I have just absolutely adored on this motorcycle, since we're talking about the throttle, the controls. I've told you guys before, I love a good set of controls. I want to feel a tactile click when I click buttons. Triumph just reminded me with the Rocket 3R Black that their button controls, the intricacies and how well everything fits together and how it feels when it clicks, the controls of using the info panel up here, Triumph leads the game with how well their controls feel. The only people that compete with them, in my opinion, would probably be Ducati and BMW. I know a lot of you guys probably don't even care about controls. You can let me know in the comments if you care about controls as much as I seem to do. You know, if you think about it, when you're riding, man, you're interacting with these controls the entire time. Having a really nice control experience just elevates the entire ride of a motorcycle and makes it feel premium. Continuing that controls conversation, the clutch, a little heavy here on the Rocket, but it feels in sync with how the whole bike is. If this bike had a light clutch with that as big of an engine as it has, it would honestly feel so strange. Throughout everywhere that we've ridden this motorcycle, I feel like it makes sense and everything feels like my brain wants it to. It's a big motorcycle, so it is going to be a little heavier. Now granted, the weight just drifts away the second you start going, they've got the weight balanced really well to the bike. Once it's going, you don't feel like it's heavy at all. But if you're not going, it is a heavier motorcycle. You've got some expectations, right? Everything's going to be slow and methodical, and it is, but everything is slow and methodical. It feels, the word I've used in the past is this bike feels synced up more than any other motorcycle I think I've ridden. If you get on it and ride this motorcycle, you realize that it rides exactly like it looks. And I know that's a strange statement to make. Any of you guys that have some seat time on this vehicle, please let me know in the comments if I'm right. I have never felt like, wow, I expected that bike to be this big, broody, just gross thing. And it is, and that is such a compliment. I mean it as a compliment, at least. I love that this bike responds exactly like I expect it to. Its looks set me up as a rider to have a certain amount of expectation, and I get all of that. And I think that's what's led to me enjoying this bike as much as I have, dude, because it's just like, you see what you get. I love the way this thing looks now. That's another thing. After riding this thing for a month, when I first got it, I didn't think I would like it, and I wasn't sure how I felt about the way it looks. I've done some photo stuff with it. I've taken some photos here, here, and here. I gotta admit, the thing is growing on me, dude. And the more it grows on me, the more I like it. And that leads me to being more sad that I have to give this thing back. I don't think I can say enough good stuff about the Rocket, and I did not expect to be saying that. We've talked about a couple of the negatives. The only other kind of negative that I have was we took this thing on the highway for a while. I realized going under 80 just on cruise control chilling was fine. 80 wind protection is minimal, so 80 miles an hour is fine. I could have done that for a while. If you go over 80 for an extended period of time, you know, we're looking at like an hour or so, that's where the wind starts fatiguing you. So if you're gonna get this to tour, obviously it can totally handle it. I would recommend a windscreen. Definitely gonna need some sort of wind protection, even just a little one that lips up to get that wind bubble over you. Body position with the mid controls and the big handlebar, I have really enjoyed. Again, it fits with the bike very freaking well. And the seat does a phenomenal job of making sure you don't, as Bo says, lawn dart off the back of the motorcycle when you give it a lot of throttle. It doesn't allow you to move around a lot. So when you're, you know, trying to position your body weight, if you're trying to like maybe carry more speed into a turn, it is hard to move around, so you don't really have that option. For touring, I don't know if they have a different seat. Maybe recommend getting a different seat if they have one. If I was to buy this motorcycle, I would buy a seat for touring and only put it on when I'm gonna go tour. I would put a windscreen on permanently, and if I'm gonna be honest, I would not change a single other thing about this motorcycle. Honestly, this has been such a good bike, guys. And like I said in the beginning, I feel like this is a cruiser for non-cruiser guys. I think anybody in their right mind would enjoy this motorcycle. So I am sad that I have to give this thing back. I know the guys and I have really enjoyed riding it around, so it's gonna be sad to not have it in the shop. But Triumph, good freaking job, man. This is the first Rocket I've ever ridden. I haven't ridden any of their other Rocket models. I am pleasantly surprised and impressed with this thing, and I think if you guys pick this thing up, you're going to really enjoy it. But guys, that's all I got for you. I'm Chaseontwowheels. I hope this video helped you guys out. If it did, do us a favor and hit that like button. That's how we know to make more of the type of content that you guys really enjoyed watching. And if this video helped you out, make sure to let us know in the comments down below. If you were you kind of on the rails if you were gonna get the Rocket or not, and this kind of like pushed you over the edge. Anyways, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. I appreciate you riding around with me, and I'll see you on the next one. Not on the Rocket, but on the next one. Later, guys. Y'all go ride safe. Outro crew, you made it to the end of the video. That means you're in the outro crew. Congrats. Thank you so much. We love the people that make it to the outro crew, because by watching the entire video, you help the YouTube algorithm. So I need you guys to do a couple of things here in the outro crew. One, obviously hit that like button. It's what keeps us going. Also, you got to make a comment. put OC in your comment. That'll stand for Outro Crew, and that'll make me know, that'll help me know that you made it to the end of the video. Let me know in the comments, am I, after the Sportster S and now the Rocket, am I getting converted to a muscle cruiser guy? I think the conspiracy is out there. I think it's happening. You guys let me know what you think about my conversion in the comments down below. I love you guys a little bit longer, and now that I'm back at the shop, I gotta get back to work. You guys go ride safe. I'll see you on the next one. Later. All right. That was it, Rocket. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here, and I look forward to maybe seeing you again one day. And with that, the Rocket Loan is off.